In May 2011, the popular Chinese matchmaking dating program, If You Are the One, welcomed a 32-year-old female guest, Wang Gia. She is a graduate from a prestigious university with delicate features and a gentle temperament. In the 129th episode, she encountered the charming male guest Zhang Tianyi and expressed a sincere confession. "I am someone who can travel the ends of the earth for love. I believe wherever there is love, that's my paradise. I've been searching for this kind of feeling for a long time. Life is about giving, not taking. I'm truly willing to do anything for you." As expected, Wang Gia successfully held hands with the male guest, becoming the subject of admiration. Her heartfelt words on the show ignited public opinion because they sharply contrasted with other picky female guests. Netizens also crowned Wang Gia with the title, "The most sincere female guest in the history of If You Are the One." However, a year later, Wang Gia reappeared in the public eye, but this time due to a vicious murder case. How did the former goddess turn into a ruthless killer? Today, let's talk about the case of Wang Gia, the female guest from If You Are the One, who killed her husband.
希望我幸福，因为我找这份感情，我真的找了很久。我曾经认为我是一个为爱可以去走天涯的人，我认为有爱的地方就是我的家。所以我现在真的很想有一个家，然后跟他一起去过好每一天。
In the spring of 2010, mainland China launched a blind date program called If You Are the One, which quickly gained nationwide popularity with its innovative format and attractive participants. It wasn't just the youth who tuned in eagerly. Many middle-aged and elderly viewers also made it a ritual to gather in front of their TV screens every Saturday and Sunday night, eagerly awaiting the familiar opening theme music, "Can You Feel That?" The male guests on the show ranged from wealthy tycoons to mature gentlemen well-versed in classical literature to self-assured tycoons. As for the female guests, besides their sweet appearance and tall figures, some of them were also quite charismatic. The famous internet catchphrase, "I'd rather cry in a BMW than laugh on a bicycle," originated from one of the female guests on If You Are the One, Ma Nuo. Many female guests became internet celebrities through the show, even participating in the production of some films and television dramas. So, many people signed up for If You Are the One, not necessarily to find a partner, but to boost their own exposure. However, the protagonist of this story, Wang Gia, was different. She genuinely wanted to find her Prince Charming through the program. Wang Gia appeared as the second female guest in episodes 126 to 129 of If You Are the One. Born in 1979 in Midwest China, she was 32 when she appeared on the show. Wang Jia's father worked for a state-owned enterprise in China, while her mother was a nurse. She was the only child in her family, showered with affection since childhood, and later she gained admission to a prestigious university, where she became a prominent figure on campus, akin to a campus belle. Wang Gia enjoyed writing and had a talent for it. Like many girls who love literature, she dreamed of a beautiful romantic life. After graduating from university, Wang Gia smoothly entered a publishing house as an editor. One could say Wang Gia grew up amidst praise from others, which shaped her into a proud and self-centered individual. With a lofty demeanor, Wang Gia also had high standards for her partner. Several failed relationships ended due to reasons such as differences in education level, poor financial conditions, or lack of common ground. Amidst this, Wang Gia found herself at 32. Her parents began to urge her to marry, but Wang Gia was unwilling to lower her standards. It was at this time she came across the marriage and dating program, If You Are the One. She noticed that many female guests on the show were not necessarily better off than her, yet they often ended up with outstanding male guests. She couldn't help but think, why not give If You Are the One a try? In late 2010, Wang Gia took special leave and flew to Nanjing to participate in the show's auditions. With her outstanding appearance and articulate speech, she smoothly passed the auditions. In February 2011, the production team even flew to Wang Jia's hometown to shoot a promotional video for her. Wang Gia opened an interactive social account to prepare for the show. Her social signature read, "Marriage is the best gift two people can give each other. Having a home of my own is my greatest pursuit in this life. Whoever gives me a wedding ring, I will love him with my life. When relatives and friends learned that Wang Gia was going to be on If You Are the One, they called and texted to congratulate her, hoping she would find her ideal husband soon. Starting in May 2011, Wang Gia appeared in 4 episodes of If You Are the One consecutively. Clad in red and with a sincere attitude, she gained many fans. In the 129th episode, she met a male guest who made her heart flutter. His name was Zhang Tianyi, 30 years old, from Beijing, a senior executive in a company, young, promising, and financially stable. Zhang had once lived a carefree life, but a few years ago, doctors suspected he had cancer. At that moment, the young Zhang felt like the sky was falling, but fortunately, it turned out to be a false alarm. It was only a benign tumor after the surgery. Later, Zhang faced a severe setback in his career, with several companies collapsing due to his mismanagement. He almost lost all his wealth, but fortunately managed to make a comeback in the end. After experiencing these 2 events, Zhang seemed to mature overnight. He longed for a warm home and cherished his family and friends even more. With these details in mind, many female guests kept their lights on for Zhang as a gesture to show their interest. One female guest even curiously asked Zhang if he, as an executive, had many social engagements. Zhang replied, saying that he didn't, as most of the time, it was his juniors who attended such events, and he didn't need to bother. This further endeared him to the female guests.
很少，因为都是下面去应酬，我不用管。
However, when Zhang listed his criteria for a partner and emphasized his desire to marry within 6 months, one by one, the lights in the studio went out. Zhang hoped his other half would be at least 1.68 meters tall and hold at least a bachelor's degree. He didn't want someone too beautiful, fearing insecurity, nor did he want someone not attractive, worrying they wouldn't be accepted. In the end, only Wang Jia's light remained lit for Zhang. At this moment, Wang Gia expressed a heartfelt confession to Zhang. Your desire to marry within 6 months and then have children aligns with mine. I really want to have a family now because I crave happiness, to make my parents happy, and to reassure them. I know you've been through illness and setbacks, and I know you're someone who will cherish. Whether in sickness or in health, in poverty or wealth, even if we have nothing, I'm willing to strive with you.
我曾经认为我是一个为爱可以去走天涯的人，我认为有爱的地方就是我的天堂，真的是这样子的。但是我不知道我为什么找我这份爱，我找了这么久，我觉得我真的找得很辛苦。所以男嘉宾，我不管他是生老病死，也不管他是贫穷富贵，哪怕他一无所有，我愿意跟他一起去奋斗，因为我觉得这是我想要的生活。
Wang Jia's declaration of love touched the host, the live audience, and also Zhang. No one knew whether Zhang harbored some reluctance at the time, but in this episode, Zhang and Wang Gia successfully paired up. Following the tradition of If You Are the One, they received 2 tickets to Hawaii. Zhang even expressed to the host his willingness to donate the tickets to remote regional areas, and he would personally take Wang Gia abroad for the trip. Wang Gia, too, was dubbed the most sincere female guest by netizens because of her heartfelt speech. At that moment, Wang Gia envisioned traveling, marrying, having children with Zhang Tianyi, and the simple yet happy days ahead. What she never expected, however, was that after the show ended, her Prince Charming would suddenly vanish. After Wang Gia and Zhang stepped off the stage, their original plan was to visit Wang Jia's parents in her hometown first and then travel abroad. However, on the 10th of May 2011, Wang Gia suddenly posted on her social account, stating that on the 22nd of April, Zhang had gone to the US on a business trip, and since then, she couldn't get in touch with him. The episodes of If You Are the One are pre-recorded, and the episodes broadcasted in May, from episodes 126 to 129, were likely recorded in March or April. This means that as soon as the recording was finished, Zhang began to distance himself from Wang Gia. On the same day, May 10th, Wang Gia also posted another social saying, "It seems like he's gone missing. I feel hurt and sad. Why can't he understand the other person's feelings? We all have emotions, especially at our age. I'm really disappointed. However, just one day later, Wang Gia posted another social saying, "I'm so happy. My prince has returned from overseas." However, it seemed that Zhang, who returned from his business trip, did not contact Wang Gia. On May 19th, Wang Gia posted online saying, "I need to be respected. Why disappear?" In no time, news of Wang Gia being abandoned by the male guest from If You Are the One spread like wildfire on the internet. Embarrassment, anger, and humiliation intertwined in Wang Jia's heart. She locked herself in her room, shedding tears day in and day out. Later, a concerned journalist managed to contact the missing Zhang, who disclosed the truth to the journalist. He said that the match on the show was just a momentary impulse, and after stepping off the stage, considering the long distance and unsuitability of their personalities, he decided not to contact Wang Gia anymore. Just when Wang Jia's mood hit rock bottom, a caring male fan walked into Wang Jia's life. During the month or so that Zhang went missing, there were netizens who sympathized with Wang Gia, and there were also those who cynically ridiculed her misfortune. One fan, named Sun, kept sending private messages to Wang Gia, comforting her and offering support. Sun was from Wang Jia's hometown, standing at 1.8 meters tall, with very good looks, and holding a stable job as a customer manager at a local bank. Both of his parents are retired teachers, so he received a good upbringing from a young age. From the moment Wang Gia appeared on the stage of If You Are the One, Sun was deeply attracted to her. In Sun's eyes, Wang Gia was intelligent, brave, and beautiful. Sun said he wasn't optimistic about Wang Gia and Zhang holding hands from the beginning because he saw hesitation in Zhang's eyes. After Wang Gia and Zhang's brief romance ended, Sun boldly and passionately pursued Wang Gia. However, Wang Gia did not immediately agree to be with Sun because Sun's financial situation was far inferior to that of Zhang, an executive. Sun owned a 90-square-meter house, but was still paying off the mortgage. Although his parents were retired teachers, their retirement income was very limited. However, just as Wang Gia had impressed the audience and Zhang with her sincerity on the show, Sun also eventually won over Wang Gia with his sincerity and devotion. On the 27th of May 2011, Wang Gia and Sun confirmed their relationship. Wang Gia happily posted online, "I'm in love, so happy, he appreciates me. My heart is filled with sunshine and gratitude." Wang Gia generously shared the moments of love between her and Sun with netizens. On the 4th of June, she posted, "Had green bean cake and zongzi from Sun, turned into a little fat cat. I love listening to music, eating watermelon, watching TV, and surfing the internet at home with my beloved. Everything feels so real and comfortable. I love Sun." On the 11th of July, Wang Gia posted online, "Last night, we went out for hot pot, and I lost my necklace. Sun noticed the necklace was missing and helped me search in the community yard and on the street for more than half an hour. Surprisingly, he found the necklace on the road. I'm so impressed. It's so miraculous. It seems he is destined to be the one I marry in this life. I'm amazed by his persistence and calmness." Their relationship quickly heated up, and they met each other's parents. All four elders were very satisfied with their relationship and urged them to marry soon. Sun began to renovate their 90-square-meter bridal house. From finding a renovation company, purchasing materials, to supervising the construction site, Sun took care of everything personally. Seeing her future husband busy preparing for their wedding, Wang Gia said affectionately, "My heart is filled with gratitude for my beloved, who works tirelessly to build our future together." However, the relationship between Wang Gia and Sun also faced its challenges. In mid-June 2011, a stranger suddenly arranged to meet Wang Gia. It was only after the meeting that Wang Gia learned this person was actually Sun's ex-girlfriend. The ex-girlfriend told Wang Gia, "After breaking up with Sun, I've been trying to reconcile with him, but he rejected all my attempts. Now I realize he's fallen for you." The sudden appearance of the ex-girlfriend left Wang Gia bewildered. On the 18th of June, Wang Gia posted online, "Late night chat, what a surprise." Then she added, "What a mess. Turns out I'm still the third wheel, but I came out on top. On the 21st of June, Wang Gia said, "When trust disappears, when someone is under full suspicion and scrutiny, I believe that sense of belonging and reliance has withered away." However, this little episode did not substantially affect the relationship between Wang Gia and Sun. A few days later, on June 22nd, Wang Gia posted on Weibo saying, "Everything back to warmth. No matter how hard two genuinely loving people resist, they can't resist the true feelings in their hearts. All the tough words and threatening postures will be dissolved by one sentence. I can't live without you. I can't make it through a day without you." The ending is, two people have each other again, and their feelings deepen. It seems Sun has managed to win back Wang Gia, but the crisis hasn't been completely averted. What truly led this relationship into a dead end was Wang Jia's transformation from a goddess to a housewife. After the recording of the If You Are the One program ended, the female guests who participated in the program created a group chat to stay in touch. But gradually, this group became a place for the girls to satisfy their vanity. Everyone rushed to share their recent accomplishments, comparing who was doing better. Some female guests married wealthy businessmen and became wealthy wives. Some became internet celebrities, gaining hundreds of thousands of fans. Some signed with talent agencies, released albums, and did commercials. Luo Aishuan, who once shared the stage with Wang Gia, became popular across the internet by bantering with Gia on stage, becoming a Weibo influencer, and later even wrote several books like My If You Are the One and Fooling Around. When the girls in the group asked about Wang Jia's recent situation, Wang Gia awkwardly remained silent. She felt her conditions were no worse than any other female guest, but now she had to marry an ordinary bank employee. Wang Gia looked at her fiancé, finding fault with him everywhere. In January 2012, as the big wedding approached, Wang Gia unilaterally announced the cancellation of the wedding and broke up with Sun. Naturally, Sun tried every means to persuade her. Coincidentally, at this time, Wang Gia discovered she was pregnant. She was caught in deep turmoil. If she didn't want the child, she was already in her 30s, and having an abortion would not only harm her health, but also damage her reputation. But if she wanted the child, she was unwilling. Finally, under the repeated persuasion of both parents, Wang Gia decided to proceed with the wedding as planned. In April 2012, Sun and Wang Gia entered into the bond of marriage. It can be said that Wang Gia was not completely satisfied with this marriage from the beginning, which laid the groundwork for the tragedy that followed. On the other hand, Sun, who married the goddess, was ecstatic. At this point, he did not realize that he had already stepped into the gates of hell. After marriage, Wang Jia's belly grew bigger, her figure changed, and pregnancy spots appeared on her face. Looking at her once pure and beautiful photos, compared to the radiant goddess image when she participated in If You Are the One, Wang Gia felt a sense of frustration. Seeing other female guests living glamorous lives only fueled her resentment further. Sun advised her to be more level-headed, saying, "If you keep comparing yourself to others, then I suggest you go on If You Are the One again." These words deeply stung Wang Gia, triggering their first intense argument after marriage. But despite their disagreement, Sun still cared for his pregnant wife, and that night, he went to comfort Wang Gia. They were a couple who fought but made up before bedtime. However, after June, Sun's workload at the bank increased, leading to frequent overtime and late nights. This further displeased Wang Gia. She even began to suspect Sun's ex-girlfriend, questioning if he was cheating. Unable to express his troubles, Sun voluntarily handed over his salary card to reassure Wang Gia. However, seeing the meager savings on the card, Wang Gia suspected Sun had already withdrawn the money. So, their new married life was filled with nightly quarrels. Eventually, Sun would retreat to his room to play games, stonewalling Wang Jia's unreasonable demands. Wang Gia felt increasingly aggrieved, believing that Sun had ruined her life, turning her into a haggard housewife who dealt with mundane chores every day, a trivial woman destined to bear children for others. She often thought that if she had married Zhang, she would surely be happy now. Gradually, Even their parents noticed Wang Jia's abnormal mood and advised her to seek medical help. After a checkup, the doctor diagnosed Wang Gia with mild prenatal depression and recommended she adjust her mindset. Learning of the diagnosis, Sun began to take it seriously, carefully attending to his wife's emotions, taking her out for walks to lift her spirits. Seeing Wang Jia's mood improve, Sun's lingering worry gradually dissipated. However, unbeknownst to him, a disaster was quietly approaching. On the 31st of July, Sun took a day off. He woke up early to prepare breakfast, calling Wang Gia to come and eat, but she didn't respond. Walking into the room, Sun saw Wang Gia staring intently at the computer, her expression grim. He asked her what was wrong, and she replied, "I don't want to live anymore." Snatching the computer from Wang Jia's hand, Sun discovered she was chatting with Ye Jiali, a former female guest on If You Are the One. Ye had recently released a new album, plunging Wang Gia into deep frustration. Enraged, Sun shouted, "It's If You Are the One again! It's the female guest again! When will you stop? You're 34 years old now. Can't you live in the real world instead of on stage?" With that, he threw the computer to the ground. Stunned, Wang Gia felt her anger, resentment, and frustration reach their limit, pushing her to the edge of explosion. A terrifying thought flashed through her mind: kill her husband and then commit suicide so everything could end. On the night of the 1st of August, they erupted into another intense argument. Sun went to sleep in the room without saying a word. In the middle of the night, Wang Gia tossed and turned, unable to sleep, her anger unsubsided. She rushed into the kitchen, grabbed a fruit knife, and tragedy struck. Sun woke up in a pool of blood, staggering out of the house for help, eventually collapsing at the elevator door. Seeing her fallen husband, Wang Gia finally snapped out of her trance, embracing Sun and weeping bitterly, then stabbed herself twice before calling the police. Thanks to prompt medical treatment, Wang Gia and her unborn child were unharmed, but Sun tragically succumbed to his injuries due to excessive blood loss. Shortly after, under police custody, Wang Gia gave birth to a son. Because she was breastfeeding, Wang Gia was released on bail. During her confinement period, she attempted to commit suicide several times, but was stopped by her elderly parents. On the 4th of December 2013, the trial of Wang Jia's homicide case was held in the Xi'an Intermediate People's Court. The court ruled that Wang Jia's actions were cruel and led to serious consequences, warranting severe punishment. However, considering that the case arose from family conflicts and that Wang Gia was suffering from a depressive episode at the time, her ability to control her actions was diminished, and she confessed voluntarily. Therefore, she received a lighter sentence. Ultimately, Wang Gia was sentenced to 13 years in prison, later reduced to 10. Wang Jia's parents compensated Sun's parents with 30,000 yuan. Out of consideration for their grandson, Sun's parents dropped their civil lawsuit against Wang Gia. By now, Wang Gia should have been released from prison. During their passionate courtship, Wang Gia once wrote on Weibo, "I love Sun. He has revived my life with vitality and vigor. I will accompany him for life. Because of him, I am happy, I strive, I fight. I am waiting for the day when he puts a wedding ring on me. No matter what happens, I have no regrets spending every minute with him." It is obvious that Wang Gia did love Sun, so what made her heartless enough to stab her beloved? Some say it was prenatal depression that destroyed Wang Gia, but others argue that most depression patients would not harm others. Wang Gia clearly suffered from bipolar disorder, blinded by her envy. The stage of If You Are the One wove a beautiful dream for Wang Gia, but she became too deeply entrenched in that dream, unable to wake up from it. Balzac said, "The golden chains are the heaviest." Many people, in pursuit of wealth, unknowingly shackle themselves with heavy chains. Life is a beautiful robe, crawling with lice. Outsiders only see the beauty of the robe, but they cannot see the wearer enduring the disgust of the lice. Ultimately, life is one's own. As one drinks water, one knows if it's cold or warm. Okay, that's all for today. See you in the next story.